Before the blinding LED screens of BGC, before the frantic 5G live streams, and long before the world-class computer-sequenced pyromusicals of Manila Bay, there was a different kind of New Year. It was a time when the medianoche wasn't measured by the brand of the jamon or the cost of the imported wine, but by the quiet, collective strength of a family's prayer whispered in the dark. Fast forward to 2026, the Philippines has emerged as a global titan of celebration, hosting some of the most expensive and technologically advanced New Year's spectacles on the planet. We have traded the humble handmade bamboo torotot for multi-million peso laser arrays that can be seen from provinces away. We have traded the intimate circle of the kitchen for the anonymous roar of the stadium. But as we stand amidst the high-tech countdowns and the digital thunder of 2026, a haunting question begins to surface in the Filipino consciousness. In our pursuit of the show, did we accidentally lose the soul of the celebration? Did the spectacle become a mask for a lost sense of belonging? Tonight, we step back into a lost paradise of simplicity, an era where magic didn't require electricity. We will peel back the layers of history and compare the ritual to the production, the prayer to the post, to answer one ultimate question: which Philippines truly does the New Year better? 1. The Lost Paradise. In the 1950s and 60s, the New Year was an exercise in spiritual preparation. There was no mall countdown because time didn't belong to the corporations. It belonged to the family. The countdown wasn't a digital clock. It was the rhythmic, heavy tolling of a bronze church bell echoing across the quiet rice fields of the province. This was the era of the authentic superstition. Every action was a heavy, deliberate ritual. Look at the table. You wouldn't find imported grapes or luxury hampers. Instead, you found 12 local fruits, each one a silent prayer for a specific month. Families didn't just wear polka dots because it was a trend. They believed with a deep and quiet conviction that these hand-stitched circles were a physical invitation to the universe, a way to trick destiny into bringing coins into a house that often knew the hollow sound of an empty pocket. And then, the noise. It wasn't the sterile, distant pop of expensive pyrotechnics. It was raw. It was the Bayanihan of sound. Imagine the cacophony of an entire village waking up at once. Neighbors didn't hide behind tinted glass. They were on the streets, dragging rusted tin cans, banging blackened frying pans with wooden spoons, and blowing into bamboo torotots until their lungs ached. This was Bayanihan in its purest, most primal form. You weren't making noise to be seen on a feed. You were making noise because you were a soldier in a collective war against the darkness. The goal was communal exorcism. You banged those pots to scare away the literal ghosts of the past year, the hunger, the sickness, and the bad luck. When the clock struck 12, you weren't an individual spectator. You were part of a single, united family, shouting into the void to ensure that the light would return for one more year. But as the decades rolled on, that collective shout began to fade, replaced by a different kind of noise. A noise that was louder, brighter, and much more expensive. But did it actually scare away the darkness? Or did it just distract us from it? The modern spectacle, fast forward to 2026. The celebration has been globalized. In the modern Philippines, the New Year is no longer a ritual, it is a production. We have traded the raw energy of the neighborhood for synchronized fireworks symphonies and the humble bamboo torotot for high-fidelity line arrays that pump bass into the very bedrock of the city. Efficiency is the new tradition. In 2026, the medianoche table is often a curated experience. The 12 round fruits are no longer gathered from the local palenque. They are imported grapes from Chile, oranges from Australia, and apples from Japan, delivered in plastic-wrapped prosperity baskets to our doorsteps. Even the polka dots have evolved. They are now high-fashion statements, often color-coordinated with the Pantone color of the year, Cloud Dancer, a soft white meant to symbolize a reset. But there is a modern advantage that the old world could never have imagined. Connectivity. For the millions of Filipinos in the diaspora, the 2026 New Year is the one-night technology allows the heart to ignore the map. Technology has bridged the gap that the old world couldn't. Through 5G and satellite links, an OFW in Dubai can virtually sit at the table in Pangasinan, hearing the same countdown and seeing the same smiles in real time. However, this connectivity comes with a hidden tax. We are more linked than ever, yet more distracted. In 2026, we spend the first 10 minutes of the new year not in an embrace, but in a frantic race to upload the perfect video. We have gained the ability to be everywhere at once, but have we lost the ability to be truly present in the one room that matters? We've gained efficiency, we've gained the world, but in the process, have we traded the sacred for the social? The comparisons, though, we arrive at the inevitable question, who does it better? On the left, the old world offered something that money cannot manufacture: intimacy. It was a night of hyper-localism. You didn't just know the people at your table. You knew the history of the hands that cooked the food. The superstitions weren't just quirky traditions. They were a shared language of hope. In a world before social safety nets, those 12 fruits and those jumps at midnight were a collective pact. You weren't celebrating alone. You were part of a neighborhood that breathed as one. But on the right, the modern era offers something the old world never had: identity on a global scale. This is the era of the Philippines as a destination. On this night, the archipelago sheds its developing nation label and stands as a titan of Southeast Asia. When we launch those drones and light up the Manila skyline, we are telling the world that we have arrived. It is a night of collective pride, a proof of concept that the Philippines can host a celebration as grand, as safe, and as technologically advanced as New York, Sydney, or London. The old world was about preservation, keeping the family together in a small flickering circle of light. The modern era is about projection, beaming the light of the Philippines to every corner of the globe. One was a celebration of the home, the other is a celebration of the nation. We have traded the quiet magic for high-decibel spectacle. We have moved from the inner circle of the barrio to the outer stage of the world. But as the smoke clears in 2026, we have to ask ourselves, in our hurry to show the world how far we've come, did we forget to look at the person sitting right next to us? Perhaps the better New Year isn't about which era has the most expensive fireworks or the fastest internet. It's about the stubborn, beautiful fact that despite the skyscrapers and the digital noise of 2026, the Filipino heart still jumps at midnight. We are a people of ritual. Even in a high-rise, we still keep our rice dispensers full to the brim. We still scatter coins on the floor like seeds of a future harvest, and we still throw open our doors to the midnight air, welcoming an unknown future with a smile rather than fear. But as 2026 unfolds, we are witnessing a phenomenon that no one predicted. It's being called the reverse modern movement. Thousands of young Filipinos, Gen Z and millennials who have lived their entire lives in the digital glow of the city are intentionally switching off. They are leaving the VIP countdowns and the 5G hubs of Makati to head back to the provinces. They aren't going back for the lack of technology. They are going back for the abundance of presence. They are seeking that lost paradise, where the noise comes from laughter instead of speakers, and where the media noche is a feast of connection rather than a social media post. They are proving that while the Philippines has moved forward, its soul is still anchored in the soil of the barrio. The new year of the past gave us roots. The new year of the present gives us wings. But in 2026, the best celebration is the one that remembers both. So we want to hear from you. If you had a time machine, would you go back to a quiet 1960s province for one night of magic? Or do you believe the energy of 2026 is the best it's ever been? And for our viewers abroad, what is the one tradition you keep, no matter how far you are from home? Tell us your story in the comments. Let's keep the spirit of the Filipino New Year alive.